All right, maybe it'll work that time. I think we're live. And what we're going to do is we're just going to continue on our testing to update our 400 gold and under data for our infantry testing. I just really wanted to expand the data for the 400 gold and under and the 401 to 600 gold categories, because when I started this testing way back when, I think in September, I really wanted to be, the testing sort of grew and got a little more accurate as it went on, and I think the most accurate testing I did and the most insightful testing I did was really 901 gold up. This testing originally only had one against Dwarf Warriors, so I'm adding the Nasty Skulkers as a test unit to test everything against, because they are armor piercing, they kill things pretty fast, and they have a lot of units. Now, this should reorganize the units a little bit, because there were some sort of weird bits of data that it was easy to interpret, understanding which units were tested, but this should stratify them a little bit better. So we left off at Nasty Skulkers versus Skaven Slaves. Skaven Slaves are a very efficient unit, and they took 29 gold off the Nasty Skulkers. Now we're going to go to the Skaven Slave Spears. And where is that? All right. And we'll start testing them. And then for anyone who hasn't seen my testing, it's very straightforward. The thing that's really important to me is to keep the testing very repeatable, to make sure it is exactly the same each time. Now, when it comes to testing like this, it's only one piece of the puzzle. It doesn't tell you everything about units, but it is a fairly strong piece of data. Now, how I interpret the data is up to sort of my own mental filter, and of course yours may be different, and that's why I present the testing, so that everyone can see and understand exactly what I've done and how I've done it, so that you can make your own interpretations based on the data that I gather, which is really quite important to me. And the ability to reinterpret the data over time by making the testing very repeatable, so I can go back and look at the testing again, do some more testing, test the same units in the same way once things have changed, and understand what the differences look like in a very, in a vacuum. Like this is in as much of a vacuum as it can possibly be, I think, aside from just a straight up stats calculation, which would be more pure, I think, but it's hard to take into account the randomness of the game when you're starting to do that when you're starting to look at just numbers and calculations. But so 59 started at 59.3, so 59, 59. Oh, all right, and Nasty Skulkers finished with, Nasty Skulkers finished with 49.12. There we go, 49.12, and Skaven Slave Spears finished with 30.75. And again, for those who haven't watched this testing, what I do is I look at the start of the battle, the end of the battle, and then how much time it took. Then I look at the starting hit points and the ending hit points of each unit, and look at sort of how much they took off each other. I look at the DPS, the damage per second of each unit, and based on the ratio of their ending hit points to their starting hit points in comparison to their gold, I look at the gold differential. So in this case, the Skaven Slave Spears actually won some gold off the Nasty Skulkers. So that was a positive interaction for those two units for the Skaven Slaves. That you would say they won that, even though they lost. And that's where these very cheap units can actually do quite well. And Skaven Slave Spears, I think they have a bonus versus large. What is it? Bonus versus large versus 6. So there was a good discussion on last night's stream, or our start of a discussion, asking was Skaven Slave Spears worth it for the anti-large, and then I referred the person who had asked to Shetland Apache's amazing tournament Discord, where they have like a theory crafting and stuff like that, and I saw the conversation he started there today, and it was amazing as to whether Skaven Slave Spears were worth it for their anti-large and their anti-large bonus, and it looks like they are worth it over basic Skaven Slaves. Just some of the calculations I saw was really amazing. There's some really, really smart people in that group, and they do some fantastic sort of thought experiments and actual calculations, and also a lot of people are very willing to get in and do some testing. So it's a very interesting conversation, usually backed by not just opinion, which is what I really like, because that's where the conversations are really difficult. People just say, well, I like this unit because, and yeah, you can look at the qualitative measures of a unit and compare them that way, but often the Skulkers cost 500 Zutron. I'm not smart at times. I think people who watch testing and go over spreadsheet work, stuff like this, are probably a cut above in general. That's just my dwarf opinion, Zutron. So 58, 57, 58. Yeah, Nazi Skulkers are 500 right there, 58, 57, and they finished with 5079, and Skaven Slave Spears finished with 3082. Took 14 gold off of that. So it'll be interesting. The Skaven Slave Spear should not do as well as his basic Skaven Slaves, for sure. Just in terms of the stat comparisons. You're welcome, Zutron. Of course. That's funny. I think rightfully believe that people who do like watching this sort of testing in general tend to be more focused on math and science and experimentation, and sort of have a deeper thinking loop than most. Not to say that there's not smart people who don't like statistics and mathematics and stuff like that. It's just been my general experience. So 5904, and Nazi Skulkers finished with 5079. Again 5079, 2995. It's rare you see them finish with the same hit points. It doesn't happen very often, actually. So end that battle, or rematch. All right. Hopefully I can get through the testing tonight. And I'm not sure how I'm going to present this, if I should go and represent the whole thing or not. Zutron. I used to like slaves to run down and occupy archers. They're the best. Like, I think you need clan rats to really beat up archers, but slaves can definitely bog them down. The one thing Skaven slaves are really good at is wiping out artillery. They're just outstanding at it, actually. They struggle against archers. They will do good against our like peasant bowmen, but you need clan rats to really take out most archers, or at least to take them on and beat them. 5901. It's been I did a little bit of testing on that, not a whole lot, but that's what it looks like to me. Because even peasant mobs can beat all artillery, I think. Nazi Skulkers finished with 5044. And Skaven Slave Spears, 3136. 36 minus 18. I just got done watching Skulls for the Skull Throne. Thorgrim Grudgebearer. Game of Thrones episode sucked. Don't tell me about it, please. I haven't watched the last 2 seasons. I'm saving it. I'm saving it for going through all of it at once. I want to buy the whole series and go through it all. I kind of lost interest a little bit, for a while there. Where are we? Okay, last one. But I know a lot of people weren't really thrilled with how this season has gone. And, I can understand it. It's just like Avengers Endgame. Like, I grew up with the Avenger comics, and I've loved the entire Avengers series. And Avengers Endgame could have ended badly in so many ways, but I thought they did an outstanding job of it. 5930. I was very pleased with how that movie went, to be honest, because it was so easy to mess it up and so hard to get it right. 5771 and 3704. 3704. So 27. So the Skaven slaves took about 9 gold off the skulkers. Zutron. I like to use slaves to run down occupied archers, though, since they have such good speed. Yeah. I mean, I really think Skaven slave spears, peasant mobs are very underutilized, really, as a unit. Nasty Skulkers versus Clan Rats. Now, Clan Rats here are also an extremely efficient unit. I would expect the Clan Rats should pull very good shoot, I don't want to do that. I think the Clan Rats should pull very good value against the Nasty Skulkers. Okay, concede defeat. Go get the right unit this time. There, Sioux Devil. Let's see if we can do this test right. Continue. Zutron. I'm about the only person who never got into Thrones in the world. No, there aren't many. There are not many. The first season hooked me because it was so good. I think that's the kind of thing. If it hooks you, it hooks you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, 150. We need, Clan Rats. There we go. But it's one of those things I really, it is really hard to bring a series like that to a proper end where everyone's going to like it, because there's so many epic moments along the seasons. I'm going to say these Clan Rats are doing all right. Yep, there's the Clan Rats being an efficient unit once again. We'll see if they pull positive gold. They are worth 300 gold, so they got to take them down to well below, I think, about half. Okay, 5805. 5805. Nasty Skulkers finish with 2796. And Clan Rats finished with 1885. Yep, 55 gold they took off them. Really, really good. Okay. Rematch. Yeah, I had a really good game against the Skaven today. I actually played quite a bit of multiplayer this weekend. I'd say I got absolutely demolished by Black Phillip. I've played him before in a tournament, but he played the High Elves and just crushed me. And same with, Pharaoh of War, played the Norskins versus my Dwarfs and crushed me as well. But then I played another game against a different player playing Norska and won that one. So it's hard to say. I changed my build completely between those two games, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I was kind of playing around with some units, and it just really didn't work at all. 5759. I'll be casting all those games, I think, 2660. As soon as I can get to it. Anyways, 1845. 64 gold. Jeez, Clan Rats are so good. Do you only play Dowie? Yes, I do. Really, I have played Lizardmen in competitive, but only because it was required as part of Shadow Online Gaming's tournament. I played Lizardmen. Who else have I played? A few other factions. Dark Elves, or I can't remember them all. Tomb Kings, but only once. I just play the Dowie. That's all. That's all I want to play. And what's funny is a lot of people are like, well, wouldn't that be boring? I'm like, no. It's like the same as work. What I do, I sort of hyper specialized, but I love the Dowie and I like knowing more, and there's always more to learn. No matter how much I know, there's a lot more to learn. So rather than having a broad base of knowledge. I like having a very deep set of knowledge on one subject. I find it more intensely gratifying to do that, to be perfectly honest. 57-47. So, I mean, I don't get bored of the Dowie, although some might. Actually, yeah, most people would. I think that's pretty uncommon to be very hyper-focused on a few things like that. But it's, it's just the kind of person I am. It's helped in my career a lot, that's for sure. 2390. And Clan Rats, 1810. 84 gold. Jiminy crickets, those Clan Rats. Rematch. Zutron. I only played Beastman, but started to learn Chaos. Cool. That's really good. Beastman, I saw. Did you see that Lore Master Sotek Skulls for the Skull Throne tournament? Oh yeah, mainly for the Fire Lore. There's a really good Beastman player in there, and play some pretty strong games actually. Yeah, the Beastman, I gotta play some games against the Beastman with my Dowie to really see how the new Beastmen are, because the Cygor's got a pretty big buff, and there's a few little things like Gore herds are much better. I'd say the Spearman herds are a little better with their leadership, but they're tweaking the Beastmen little by little, and I think trying to find that sweet spot for them. I like what they've done with the Beastmen, but I mean, that's from my perspective of someone who's never played them. I mean, I did play them one time in a tournament. That's it. And got absolutely demolished by Janet on occasion. He crushed me so bad. It was so bad. It was embarrassing. It's just, man, oh man, that was the demolition of all demolitions. 57-58. 57-58. Nasty Skulkers 2667. And Clan Rats 1867. Okay, 64 gold. Those Clan Rats are so good. In battle, a rematch. Gotta give it a look. Yeah, if Cygor is in combat, it loses value. Yeah, if Cygor is in combat, that is. Oh, you beat. No way, you beat Janet with the Beastman versus Dowie. Cool. Janet hasn't been playing a lot of multiplayer lately. He's still casting lots, but he hasn't been playing lots. I love watching him play. He plays so many different ways, and he plays all the factions, and I love his play. I love his game because it makes for a very good viewing and interesting viewing. And the way he casts is so good because he always has those cinematics in there as well. Yeah, if we get a chance, Zutron, we could play a little bit of a series with your Beastman versus the Dowie, my Dowie, and maybe play 2 or 3 or 4 games and try to just tweak our builds a little bit here and there. I think that would be really fun. Jeez, look at those Clan Rats go. That is so much value right there. So much value. Okay, 57-26. Nasty Skulkers. Nasty Skulkers finished with 1658. Clan Rats, let me see, 1307. 122 gold they pulled off of. Ouch. Netted 77. That's not as much as the... Who's pulled the most gold? It's been the Dowie. Yeah, 92 gold with the miners with blasting charges. But pretty good at 77. That's not too bad. So now Clan Rat with spears. Okay, in battle, Zutron. Yeah, his videos are great. I agree. I'm off from Tuesday. Not played in a while though. Started to play Morehow. What game is that? Morehow. I don't know the game. Okay, so Clan Rats, and then Clan Rat with spears. What's their anti-large bonus? Bonus of large is 9, and they have charge defense against large. So I think that's the difference between Skaven Slave spears don't have that charge defense against large, where Clan Rat spears do. There was some discussion on theory crafting part of Shetland Apache's Discord, where that was what was discussed, because does make a difference. But they're both going to get crushed by any kind of good cavalry. Mordhau. I don't know what Mordhau is either. I'm Zootron, I'm pretty old, so I don't keep up with all the games. Just keep up with the games I like. Or unless it just happens to come across my feed or something. I know there's this game that I play. I've played a few other games here and there. I'm going to play Star Citizen when it comes out. I'll probably buy in sort of the start of 2020 somewhere, I think. I really want to play it. I played Elite Dangerous for a while, which I quite enjoyed. I played World of Tanks for a very long time, for like 3 or 4 years. I really liked World of Tanks as well. But I haven't played it for a long time. Okay, well, not bad for Clanrat Spears, 57.58. 7.58. We'll see. It looks like they took some good value there. 31.91. 31.91. Clanrat Spears finished with 18.39. Oh, almost dead even. 2 gold. 2 gold. How about that? Okay, rematch. Yeah, and this is how it should set up. I really do like it when units stratified correctly, or not correctly. Well, yes, correctly, but how they should. Because there are some units we are going to get to that do not. It'll be interesting to do the Empire because they were all kind of all sorts of backwards the last time we did our testing, where the Empire Spearmen with shields were the highest value unit in an infantry engagement, which really isn't how you want it to be. You just don't want it to be that way. Oops, there we go. Okay, and all those Clanrats are just sticking around, eh? Boom. Okay, 57.50. Oops. 50. Nasty Skulkers. Zootron. It's a first-person medieval combat sim. Okay, but it plays like Battlefield? Okay, cool. I'll have to take a look for it on YouTube and watch some. I love Medieval Times. That's the only other Total War game I've played is Medieval 1 and Medieval 2. That's sort of my favorite time period. Historical time period. 57.50. Okay, I need Nasty Skulkers 3354. And Clanrat Spears 1874. Skulkers pulled 9 gold. So this should be really, really close to even. So Mordu, is that kind of like, was it War of the Roses that was supposed to be sort of like that? War of the Roses, and there was a game where everyone was on horseback. You kind of played in gangs versus other gangs. It's an older game, but I've seen it as well. It's first person off of a horse, which looked interesting, but I can't remember the name of that game. War of the Roses, and there was a few. They've really come a long way in first-person sword and board sort of games, making the animation sync up, because that's really not easy to do, I would imagine. So where the point where they're looking very, very good. Okay, 58.28. 28. Nasty Skulkers 3948. And Clanrat Spears will go 2792. 15 gold. Rematch. Mountain Blade. That's the other game I was thinking. That's sort of like that first-person medieval off a horse. Mountain Blade and War of the Roses. And I know there's one more game that was supposed to... that had a lot of hype at some point. But I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it was Mordhau. Mordhau? Maybe that was the one I was looking at. Could be. Yep, Clanrats once again showing their quality. Which is tough thing for a dwarf to say, but boy, they really stand up as a good value. Obviously, they're really prone to rear charges and fear and terror and everything else like that, but just in a straight up engagement, they're quite good. 5813. Nasty Skulkers 3562 and 2006. Yeah, I saw in that tournament today with Lore Master held Skulls for the Skull Throne. Talaxalan Soothsayer, man, is he good. Like, he is just so good. like, you're ridiculous. I love watching him play. Definitely love watching him play. It's the 19th? Yeah, it's 19th. Okay. Copy. Let's just do this. V. I plan on getting finished tonight. Should be a couple hours, something like that, if I stay focused. Talaxalan Soothsayer's playstyle is so constricting. He's just, oh man, he is so good. He is just so good. Zutron, I like these tests, but I'm never sure how to translate them into real battles. They are hard to translate into real battles. The best way I think about it is, because I'm not that great of a general, all I do is I try to take what I learn from them and at least get the right units on the right units in terms of the infantry fight if I can. That'll help a little bit, and to pull the best units that I can pull. There's not too much it's going to help you with in terms of it can't set a lineup for you and whatnot, but it can give you some ideas. And if every now and then you find sort of a secret good unit, like maybe it's not a secret, but for the greenskins, the Savage Orc Big Guns, they are amazing in an infantry fight. They're so good that I would bring 5 of them to almost every matchup because they're good in an infantry fight and they're also excellent anti-large. So that's like one of those units that you don't see used very much, but they're amazing. Zutron. Soothsayer isn't even playing that much these days. I see. Yeah, he makes the average unit look good. I agree. Like that tournament. Oh my god, you got to watch it. I'm not gonna talk about it more than saying you must watch it. It is so good. Okay. Yeah, his play is just without holes. You know, it's really, really hard. Greenskin missiles are very underrated as well. They sure are. Like, they got such a big volume of fire, and you know, like even their Orc Error Boys and Savage Orc Error Boys are not bad, and their even their Orc Boys are actually not too bad for their infantry. But you know, where they lose out is in their leadership. 5834. 58. That's the big one, right? 5834. 4169. $2664. Well, pulled 16, so the Nasty Skulkers won that engagement, pulled 16 gold off of it. Now we go to the Clan Rats with shields. And then we'll Clan Rat Spears with shields. So in that battle. Zutron, I like the Gobbo Archers. Yep, they're like pawns in chess. Yes, it's true. It's true. 61 to 18. I love chess. I don't know if you play a lot of chess, Zutron, but I played a ton of chess when I was young, man. I don't really play anymore except to play, you know, my brother-in-law once in a while, but that's about it. Clan Rat Spear. So Clan Rats with shields. Here we go. I do watch. I've been keeping up with Alpha Zero, obviously, and then now Leela Zero, like AI chess, and obviously I'll keep up with the World Championship. I mean, this last one between, it was like Caruana and Carlson wasn't terribly exciting. I think it went down to it ended as a tie, and then they went to shorter games. It was just draw after draw that I can remember. Yeah, they're hard to shoot since they're small, but the weight of fire is amazing. And especially if you get on the right target, there's just so many arrows. So many arrows. You know, it's like the sky turns black when they loose because they got 120 models. Zutron, yeah, I'm rubbish at chess, but I love it. I'm the same. I mean, I was okay. I sort of got up to near a rating of 2,000 when I was in university, but then I just stopped playing. Once I sort of got into engineering and working for a living, I really should have kept up with it because I really did enjoy it. 5747. 5747. We'll say Nasty Skulkers. 2307. And the Clan Rats with Shields was 1474. 37 gold they pulled, which is good. Rematch. Yeah, I know, like, I've never... Well, I don't know if I'm better than you, Zutron. No, I don't know about that at chess. Oh, you got to 1400? So 1400 is a solid rating. You know, like, a lot of people don't realize how good that is. Like, you know, getting to 1400 is actually pretty difficult. But yeah, I was at that rating in 1992, and I really had 1992, 93. I haven't played since then, really. I know that I played a little bit online, and I'm sort of at online speed chess. I got a rating of sort of 1150, so I've lost. I mean, I never had good tactics, so speed chess is not my thing. But my brother-in-law's got sort of a rating of 1500 now, and he crushes me now. But I can play him. I play him pretty well once in a while. As long as I just make too many mistakes, which is always the case in chess, right? 5734. Unforced errors is the big thing. 2204. And 1400. So 41 gold they pulled off them. It looks like they're going to stratify quite nicely. Yeah, if you played online, I don't know if it was that your over the board rating or your online rating, because the best I got over the board was 19 some. It was just about 2,000. But at that time, even then, my online speed chess rating was like 1,600, 1,500 maybe, 1,550. So I'm way worse at speed chess than classical time. Way worse. Well, I was then, and I am now. Not that I've played very much. Like, I maybe played once in the past 2 years. I played, yeah, once. I tried playing for a little while when my brother-in-law was really big into it. So I played online again a little bit, and then just lost interest. Look at them Clan Rats go. 5730. 2204. 1864. Clan Rats with Shields. 1317. Who pulled 65 gold off him that time? Not bad. Rematch. Online chess, you're about 1,300 these days. Yeah, you'd crush me. Like I said, like 1,100, 1,150 these days. I just, like, on that, the lower time, I just make mistake after mistake. You know, like, I know a reasonable amount of openings, but I only know them a few moves in. And I think one of the things that I made the mistake of early as I started playing E4 when really I'm a D4. My nature is to be a sort of a D4 player, sort of a try to play a solid strategical game with the minimal amount of tactics. But I played E4. I played the Sicilian as black, like really silly things. Like, is this gonna happen? Oh my god, are these clan rats with shields gonna beat the nasty skulkers? I just like going slow so I don't miss it if they do win. Wow, that was close. 57-24. 24. 1369 for the Skulkers. And 1314 for the Clan Rats. Wow. 104 gold they pulled that time. Oh, you played D4 in the perk? See, you know, that's what I should have played D4 and, you know, like just classic, like D4 with black. I should have played, you know, just D4, D5, and E4, E5. Really just solid defenses. But I just never did. Someone convinced me that to learn tactics, you were better off to play E4 and to play the Sicilian and play aggressive defenses. And I just lost interest in that style of gameplay. And then I never did go. But I should have gone to D4 and started playing it, but I just never did. So because I played like the Scheveningen Sicilian, which is really theoretical. Like, and it's a little bit more positional than say like the Dragon or the Nydorf and those kinds of stuff, but. You know, I should have never played the Sicilian. I was terrible at tactics. Like just terrible. But I played all kinds of crazy openings. And I got into trouble in the opening all the time. Like when I played solid, I mean, or when I played a solid opening, once I got to the middle game I could play much, much better. Like I've never beaten a Grandmaster, but I was up on one. I was up on one in a tournament. I ended up losing, but like of course that's why Grandmasters are so good. Or no, not Grandmaster, a Master. God, Grandmaster, a Master, like a rated 2200 player. Still remember his name, Knut Nevin. I was so close to beating him. 31, 57. Okay, 57. But like Masters do, he recovered from a few errors and then went on to crush me. 57. 31-15. And 18. All right, 47 gold, not too bad. For the Clan Rats with shields. And you see they pulled 47 gold off the Skulkers, whereas the basic Clan Rats pulled 77. That's what you should see. You should give up something to get that shield, and I love it when units stratify like this. It makes a lot of sense to me, and not all units do. So Clan Rat Spears with shields, the Nasty Skulkers took 16 gold off the Clan Rat Spears, so they should take more off the Clan Rat Spears with shields if they're correctly statted, which I believe they are. So we'll see. Clan Rat Spears with shields. Continue. Clan Rat Spears with shields. There we go. Did you pay attention, Zutron, to those Alpha Zero games against Stockfish? Because I watched them all and I was just blown away. Because the games weren't just good. Like, I don't like computer chess because the computers just the games never seem interesting. But Alpha Zero's games were more than good. They were beautiful. Like, some of them were amazing to watch. Really works of art, in my opinion. Anyways, I just couldn't believe how amazing they were to watch. just how pretty they were. Now, of course, they picked those games out of like 100 or something like that, but obviously they picked the most beautiful games to show everybody. You haven't followed chess in a while, yeah. Oh man, those Alpha Zero games, they were about 2 years ago, and they were something else. They really were. 5801. Nasty Skulkers, 3579. And the Clan Rat Spears with shields, 2027. 56 gold. There you go. Just right on target. Rematch. Yeah, if you do wanna watch a few, like 10 games. There's 10 games of Alpha Zero, which is Google's AI or IBM's AI. I can't remember who owns the AI. That taught itself chess in 4 hours, just knowing the rules, and then beat the world computer chess champion, which was Stockfish version 11 or out of 13 or something like that, in a 100-game match. And they showed 10 of the games, I think, and it was the 10 games they showed are spectacular. They just really are awe-inspiring games. The games that you would see Tal or Fisher or people like world champions play. You know, where it's so crazy when you watch chess games, computer chess games. They tend not to sacrifice a whole lot. They won't sack pawns or anything like this. But Alpha Zero would sack three and four pawns. It didn't even care about it. It was awesome. It was so cool to watch. 5735. 5735. 2890 for the Skulkers. And Clan Rat Spears, 1840. 11 gold. Still on target to be right where they belong. Yeah, and also just FYI, I picked the Nasty Skulkers to use for this testing because I don't think the Skulkers are going to change much. I think they've been sort of the same for a long time, and I can't see them changing. So I think there'll be a pretty robust, reliable unit to test against because they'll stay the same for a long time. Tal, the master of tactics. You know, I love games where people where players just let go of pawns and pieces and can make it work. Because it looks like I'm not good enough to understand all the tactics, so it looks like magic to me. You know, it really does. It looks like magic. So it's interesting to watch and fascinating. 5735. Is that 5735 again? 5753. A little bit of dyslexia there. Okay, and 3559 for the Skulkers. And the Clan Rat Spears, 1974. 57 gold, right on the money. Rematch. Yeah, like the players I should have really modeled my game off were like Petrov and Karpov. You know, just solid players. But I was a dum-dum, and I never did that. So that 14 stat points. I'd say this testing has gone pretty solidly so far. A lot of it is really, despite the unit, the Nasty Skulkers being so different from the Dwarf Warriors, is really, so far as looks like it's been verifying a lot of what the testing against the Dwarf Warriors did, with the exception of a few units that are going to be dramatically changed. 57, 59. 57, 59, 3360. And Clan Rat Spears, 1779. All right. Zutron. Tal's book was really good. I know, I have it. And I mean, I have about 100 chess books. I mean, I bought a lot of them. Tal's book was amazing. The best chess book I ever read was How to Reassess Your Chess by Jeremy Silman, and that changed my game dramatically. I like Tarash's book, Lasker's book. Who said Pawns Are the Soul of Chess? I can't remember, but he has a really good book too. Like an old time player, like not Nydorf. I can't remember his name right now. Pawns Are the Heart of Chess. Well, I'll probably remember it at some point. Rematch. Or Pawns Are the Soul of Chess. That he was a very early proponent of chess teacher, and he really maybe didn't coin all the phrases, but really talked about doubled pawns and backwards pawns and hanging pawns and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe Kev or something or other. Yes, God, now that's gonna bug me. Who the heck was that? What is his name? Geez, the older I get, the dimmer my mind gets. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna look this up on my phone. Zootron Arm, it's gonna drive me nuts. Okay. Who said pawns are the soul of chess? Let me see. Philidor. That's not that. Philidor did say that. That's not who I'm thinking of. Jiminy crickets. Well, just wait. I'm gonna go look. I have the book. 1 second. Where is it? I don't know. For some reason, I'm not seeing it. It wasn't Lasker. I'll think of it. All right. Play again. 57-19. And Nasty Skulkers, 2163. Clanrat Spears with Shields, 1308. Oh, pulled 20 gold. So 31 gold they pulled. And the Clanrat Spears, they pulled 16 gold. So really, they're only paying, 15 gold for that shield, but at least they're paying something for it, which is good. Now here we go, Empire Spearmen. And Empire was the most backwards. Empire Spearmen with Shields were the #1 unit in this set against the Dwarf Warriors. So we'll see if that trend continues. So we'll go to Empire Spearmen and battle. Joso Capablanca. No, I love Capablanca's games, but that's not who it was. I think he was in the same era. Steinbach? No. He was in the same era as Capablanca, I think. Maybe a little older. Steinitz? I can't remember. I love some of Capablanca's games, though. Really solid player. It might have been Steinitz. That might be the guy. Steinitz. Could be him. Could be Steinitz. Okay. So we'll go with just the basic Empire Spearmen. And we'll start that battle. I like Morphe, Capablanca, I like some of those old style games where they're just where the players used to play until checkmate. I love those games because you get to see how the game ends, and it's some of the most beautiful checkmates because they would play to the end rather than just resigning. I think resigning so early has taken a lot from the game for those who are fans of the game. I get it; it's not that interesting if you're a grandmaster, but it's fun to watch if you're a fan. It is one of those things, though. I like it when they fight to the end. But that said, I watch lots of computer chess, and when they a lot of them they play until checkmate, and a lot of the last 40 moves aren't all that interesting. 57-49. Okay, so 57-49. Nasty Skulkers 3-6-3-4. Okay, and the Empire Spearmen 1296. You're not a fan of modern chess, yeah. I think I'm with you, Zutron, because the games are, the players are there's so many amazing players that it's hard to, I prefer Tal's generation. There's so many amazing players that they're all so solid. They all train with computers these days. They know their openings. The games are rarely really interesting. There's so many draws, but I mean, there's always been lots of draws. But like Tal, right? Like attacking players are fun to watch. Empire Spearman rematch. Yeah, no one wants to see draws. Agreed. It's one of the unfortunate parts of chess, I think. I did like Fischer's spirit wanting to go to the first to 6 wins and to change the world championship format to be like that. And then I can't remember. I think it was Kasparov and Karpov played like 100 games or something and still didn't get to 6 wins. I can't remember. It was something like that. That's when they changed it back. I think it was like 1985 or something. I don't remember precisely, to be honest, but it was something like that. Empire Spearman, 57-43. Nasty Skulkers, 40-78. And 13-51. Okay, and in that battle rematch. Yeah, I mean, what's funny? Draws in multiplayer when you're playing ladder. I was draw kited yesterday by a guy who's pretty famous for draw kiting. And man, is it irritating to chase someone around a map for 10 minutes with dwarfs. I'm going to cast that game. I will cast it in fast forward though. But boy, oh boy, it is irritating. The unfortunate truth of it is that as a Dao, pretty much every faction can draw kite you at will if they want. Because you just can't catch anything. 57-51. So people who take advantage of that, I mean, it does. I always think of that as to me it feels like a low character move, but 37.91. But if you go by 1261, Legend of Total War's sort of philosophy is that if it's in the game and they allow you to play it, then you'd be silly not to play to your best advantage, and that it is CA's responsibility to make the game so you can't do silly things, not the players, which is actually correct, but it doesn't make it any less irritating. No one wants to see a bane of the Dao. Yeah, that's exactly right, Zutron. It is the bane of the Dao. Freaking draws. It's not like I've been draw kited much. Only really twice that I can think of, but I remember them both very clearly. And once was 3 years ago. It was almost 3 years ago. It was against the The first time I was draw kited was against the Bretonia. Second time was against the vampire counts. It doesn't happen that often, but it's ultra irritating, and that's what makes it so frustrating. But draw kiting, they could fix that so easy. You just make it so after a certain amount of minutes, one by every 20 seconds, one of your units rampages, and draw kites are done. See, I only care about the campaign, though it's starting to change. I agree. They really do mostly care about campaign. I wish they would take this chance to really focus on multiplayer. Like, I get it. Multiplayer is 5% of their customers. 95% of their customers are campaign. And I see that when I make videos, like my campaign videos get, easily double the views, triple the views, like sometimes way more than that of my multiplayer videos, and my multiplayer videos get a lot more views than my testing videos, which does make sense. But was it Captor Druge? No, the person who draw kited me was Boro. I guess I saw a video of turns. It was up like 4 days ago, the turn where Slade X beat this guy Boro, who draw kites all the time, and he brings really cancerous builds with vampire counts, like triple Mortis Engine, stuff like that. 5733. Whoops, why is that not working? 5733. Nasty Skulkers 3908. But again, this would be so easy for CA to stop that. There's a few rules here and there. They could make the game a lot better. So whose responsibility is it? Borrow's, this guy who likes to play these crazy builds, or is the CA's for allowing their game to be played that way? So 1249. I think you like to think people will play with some sort of code of honor, but that's really not the case when people get super competitive. Not always. Lots of people do. I'll say 80% of people do. 20% of people will look for every advantage they can get, whether it's nefarious or not. 5733. I got everything right. 5733. Yes. End of battle. Rematch. I know him, Ella. Yeah, the vampire count. He only brings single entities. That's exactly who it is. Have you played him, Zutron? I've got. He literally brought triple Mortis Engine. 2 Vargulfs, a Necromancer on a horse, 2 Necromancer heroes on a horse. They only had the summons, and 2 bats, something like that. It was crazy, the build that he brought. But apparently that's the only build he brings, is what I saw in Turn's video. And so in that game, and I'm going to cast that, in that game I demolished him. I crushed him. But he did, like, once the game was clearly over, and I'd beaten up both his Vargulfs and 2 of his Mortis Engines, and he had the Claw of Nagash, his bats, and I beat up one of his casters. He just ran with everything and just kited me around the map for 10 minutes. I almost caught him once, but he was on horses. He had a black coach. He might have. Used to be 2 black coaches. He might have had 2 black coaches. It was crazy what his build was. I'll cast it. You'll see it. I'm definitely gonna cast that game because he's ranked like number 14 in the world or something like that. But nobody wants to play him because he dodges everybody. He changes his name all the time, I guess, and dodges anyone who's good, and tries to only plays against weaker players like me, and brings these crazy builds, and that's all he does, I guess. So yeah, it's crazy. 5737. 5737. 4071 for the Skulkers. 4070 and Spearmen. 1294. So pulled 49 gold off the Spearman, and it is more. Oh no, excuse me. It is more than the Clan Rat spears with shields. here's where we see the Empire Spearmen should pull more gold off the Empire Spearmen, but if things go as they were, they will pull less. The Empire Spearmen with shields. You should have to give up something to get that shield, really, in terms of stats and performance to get the shield, but you really don't. K-Quan 39 is the same, the #1 player in the world, yeah. I've seen every once in a while when you're looking through the top 100 or 200, you'll see people put like K-Quan as a draw kiter or something like that. I don't know. It is again, it is irritating, but whose responsibility is it? K-Quan's or is it CA's? CA's could so easily stop that. They just make it so that at 10 minutes, every 20 seconds, one of your units rampages. There's no more draw kiting. There's no more draws. Maybe you make it 15 minutes, something even later like that. This draw kiting's done. You could so easily fix that. And with the single entity stuff, they could implement tournament rules perfectly. And Shetland Apache and who's worked with them on the tournament rules, including everyone, those tournament rules have been tested and they're pretty good. CA could absolutely implement those tournament rules for regular games, and it would improve the games dramatically. It really, really would. I mean, there would still be games that are builds that are really difficult to deal with and are quote unquote kind of on the edge of cancer builds, but they are what they are. And I put together a whole multiplayer video of things I would love to see in the multiplayer community, but gotta go to work. Hey, gotta go. Have a good one, Zutron. See ya. You have a good night, eh? Okay, here we go. So, literally, these Spearmen with shields should do worse in terms of their value against the nasty Skulker, but it's the nasty Skulkers, but it's highly unlikely that we'll see that. Well, maybe. We'll see. I mean, they got pretty good stats. They got 42 melee defense is the big thing. And there we go. So 57-49. 7. And nasty Skulkers 3649. 49. And the Spearmen finished with 1174. Well, 96 gold. Well, that wasn't that great of a showing for the Spearmen there, was it? Not a very good first test. Rematch. Well, maybe they'll stratify correctly against the Skulkers where they didn't stratify correctly against the Dwarf Warriors. We shall see. And they do have like 39, 19. Quite a few more stats than these Skulkers. The Skulkers have 120 versus 90. That is the big difference right there, is all the extra models that they bring to the table. So it'll be interesting to see how the Swordsmen do against the Skulkers then. Because maybe this was a unique stratification because they were fighting against Dwarf Warriors. 58-14. 58-14. Nasty Skulkers. 39-50. Spearmen. 1198. Spearmen with shields. 119. Well, this looks very correct right now. I don't think they changed this unit at all. So maybe then, well, this is why you do the testing. This is why you do the testing. So I don't think they changed Empire Spearmen with shields at all, but they seem to be correctly doing worse than regular Empire Spearmen. And then if the Swordsmen do better against the nasty Skulkers, then really it is a function of who I tested them against as opposed to incorrect stratification of the unit. Which will be interesting. That's why I'm glad I'm going back and revisiting this testing. Because, there's more to learn about these units and how they stack up, I think. Because the next one, I'm the only, from 401 to 600 gold, I'm only going to add in foot squires, because they are armor piercing anti-infantry, and they should add something interesting. And I think foot squires are done being changed. They've been changed the last 3 patches, or 3 of the last 4 patches or something. I think they're probably right where they're going to end up for good. 5728. So they should be a good stable unit to maintain. 5728. 57, is that 5728? Yeah. 3085. And 1064. 58 gold. Well, this looks very normal, and that's actually quite promising then. Rematch. And we'll see where that goes to. Oh, and I had a game against Umays today. Had 2 games, which was really fun. Met up with them on ladder. It was awesome. I'm like, we just started chatting, and I'm like, we can't do the. I'm like, I just could not handle a Dowie Civil War. He's like, well, you know, one of us will play. I'll play whoever, and then so he played Chaos versus my dwarfs, and I played Lizardmen versus his dwarfs. We played back to back and did a little testing in there. It was really fun. It is kind of fun meeting people on ladder that you know. You know, it's definitely reminds you of how good the Warhammer community is, and how many great people there are in it. 5748. Despite being the odd bad egg. Okay, 3482 for the Skulkers. And Spearmen, 1194. 82 gold. Same. It is looking good for the Spearmen with shields to end up where they belong. And then it'll be interesting to see where the swordsmen end up. So the swordsmen should, they really should end up top of the heap in terms of an infantry fight. That's what you would expect to see. I don't think there's any units left that could possibly beat the Skulkers. Empire, well, maybe there is. We'll see. There shouldn't be. Well, maybe the undead units. I don't know. Who knows? They shouldn't, though. The Skulkers have so much better stats than them. They should just get demolished very quickly. Okay, pause that. 5704. 04. All right, nasty Skulkers. 2638. Empire Spearmen. 1096. 1096. There we go. 75 gold. Well, that looks right. Yeah, they pulled 49 gold out of the Empire Spearmen and 75. So it looks like they paid 25 gold for that shield, which seems pretty fair. So that's actually really good, because that is not the results we got when we did them just against the Dwarf Warrior. So here we go. Swordsman. This will be the telling. This will tell the tale if it was really the unit that was tested against that messed up their stratification. Okay, whoops. Go here. So Empire Swordsman. Nasty Skulkers. Haddams. Hey, sort of new to your channel, but diehard Dwarf fan since FSB 8th edition, so I think that place fits. Loving your work so far. Keep it up. Thanks, man. You know, I'm just a Dowie only channel, and I think there's a channel that's pretty dedicated to the Dark Elves. Not that anyone cares. I mean, it's Dark Elves, right? But you know what? It's funny there aren't more. So, you know, I try to do all dwarf stuffs in a dwarf way, and just at an FYI, I mean, I'm an engineer in real life. I guess I'd be a longbeard at this point. I'm almost 50, so I I do things slowly and methodically, and I take my time. Oh, look at these swordsmen. They're doing excellent. There we go. Well, so this looks very correct to me. So you know, I just sort of go about the way that I do things. I really have always loved the dwarfs. The very first dwarf I played was Dungeons and Dragons in 1984, 83, 84. I can't remember exactly when. It was right around there. I played a dwarf cleric. That was my very first dwarf character. An introduction to the dwarfs. 5750. 750. Nasty Skulkers, 2152. I actually have a lot of multiplayer games coming up. I just sort of got a hankering to play some multiplayer this past, I'm going to say, week. And I probably got about 7 or 8 games to cast. And I had a submission as well to cast, which is a really fun game against the Skaven. So I have a lot of work to do. 949. I just got to get to that. Well, there you go. Swordsman, they only pulled 11 gold off him, but that's much less than the Spearman and the Spearman with shields. So there we go. That looks definitely correct. Rematch. Yeah, you know, Hatams or HatMS, which however you say your name, or HaTMS or HATMS, however you pronounce it. I don't know a whole lot of the tabletop side, so I really came to know Warhammer when Warhammer Online came out, and I was watching the development of that game for probably a year and a half or 2 years. I don't know. They were hyping it for a long time, and I was really excited about it, and I got to know the game then. So I know a little bit about the lore. I get most of my lore from Lore Master of Sotek, Italian Spartacus, Milk and Cookies Total War, Arctic Warhammer. You know, geez, there's so many. But, you know, I know a little bit about the lore. I'd say, though, I identify a lot with the Dowie and dwarfs because that's how I think for the most part. You know, when they say it took the dwarfs 500 years to be okay with using cannons instead of just grudge throwers, I can relate to that. I've played sort of the same Lizardman. My Dowie build versus Lizardman has changed very little in 2 years. Like, I change it a little bit at a time, so that's just sort of my natural personality. 5746. 746. And I probably, like I said, I probably do 100 tests for every game I play. Maybe more. Nasty Skulkers, 2464. And Swordsman, 1117. So, okay, Adams, holy shit. Oh, really? Okay, I pronounced it right the first time. Hey, my flatmate in the 8th ed days was a Dark Elf player. Cool. Wish he was still around to relate to the sentiment, too. Relate to that sentiment. Yeah, he is a Dark Elf player. I mean, who really cares? I mean... Okay. In the battle. I guess that's the dwarf pronunciation of your name, right? So only a dwarf is going to pick that up. All right. Well, these swordsmen are doing very good. I'm actually happy to see this because they were so... Everything looks so weird when they're through the first set of tests with these guys specifically. It's funny that they stratified so weirdly compared to the Skaven and the Bretonnians, but now they're stratifying normally. I don't think there's been any changes to these units in the last 6 months, but maybe there has. 5752. 7. When did I do this testing? 729. When did I start doing it? 720. So I guess that would be July 20th 2018 is when I did this first set of tests. So it's almost a year ago. I wonder if they changed. I don't think so. Maybe they have. Hard to say. Oh, anyways, we'll just keep on going. Okay, so Nasty Skulkers, 2686. And Swordsman finished with 1060. 47 gold they pulled. All right. In battle, a rematch. Okay. These swordsmen for 400 gold have 32 melee attack and 32 melee defense. They have such great stats. Like compared to that, for 400 gold, for 325, the miners have 18 and 18 versus 32 and 32. That's like 50% more in the way of stats for 75 extra gold. It seems crazy to me. 5811. And Nasty Skulkers, 2789. Swordsman 1105. With 49 gold they're finishing with. Well, we'll see how this ends. Rematch. Hadams. Well, originally it was an anagram of maths. Long before I discovered Warhammer. Okay, pronunciation would be open to interpretation, I guess, but that's how it always sounded in my head. Hadams. You know, that's funny is my handle, Sioux Devil, I picked it up in 1989 when 89 or 90 when the internet was starting to become a thing, and I needed to have a handle. And I liked Sun Tzu, and I was at the time I was reading The Art of War, and I just thought Sioux Devil sounded badass. So that's why I did it. Jav, it's odd to me that humans are stronger than any dwarfs, even miners. Yeah, that's right. Even miners. Humans are not even close to as strong as dwarfs in the lore. Like a miner would literally twist the skull off of any human, no problem. But yet, not in this game. That sort of drives me a little bit. But I understand for balance purposes the way they do it and whatnot. But dwarfs are so much stronger than humans in the lore. Yeah, and I just think, you know, what would be more accurate at hitting something than a miner in his pick who uses that all day to literally chop through stone? Like, how could his melee attack and weapon damage be so low? You think I could believe his defenses would be low, like his melee defense might still be 18, but you would think his melee attack would be like at least 30, 35. Like, if you look, these guys are 32 melee attack, 32 melee defense. You think a miner would be like 40 melee attack compared to these guys. I could see them having 18 melee defense, and you think their weapon strength would be way more than 28, because a pick would really hurt. Especially one tossed by someone twice as strong as you, who's usually literally breaking the earth out, breaking stone apart. But, you know, alas, that's not how it is. 5802. I would like to. I've advocated for miners being buffed for such a long time. They really do need to see a melee attack buff, and they need to be able to deploy underground in a Vanguard deployment. Nasty Skulkers, 2563. They get those two things done. Those two things done right. I mean, the miners would be a fantastic unit instead of just sort of the dwarf version of Chaff, which it's okay in multiplayer, but I don't like it. Just from a lore standpoint. Swordsman, what did they finish with here? 948. 948. So Swordsman 36 gold. So they stratified correctly. So the Empire Spearman lost 49 gold. The Spearman with shields lost 75, and the Swordsman only 36. So that's a correct stratification. So it'll be interesting to see how the undead do. I'm just looking. Are there any units that are really going to do good here? Marauders, some Chaos Marauders, maybe, and that's it. Okay, so we start getting to the undead faction. So in the battle, Hadams is balancing generated discrepancy is why I generally play with a view to fluff before stats. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I you know, when you look at my campaigns, and you know, I do sort of try to maximize stats because I have to, but I do like the lore and the fluff. Yeah, 54 kills. They did not too bad. Sorry, who did I say? Was it Tomb Kings? Tomb King Skeleton Warriors. That's who I need. Tomb King Skeleton Warriors. So Tomb Kings should be here. Where are they? Tomb Kings. And Skeleton Warriors. There we go. 325. Now, with this test, I gotta make sure that I end the test when they go negative. When they go negative on their leadership and start to go. So, Javanzi Whiskey, like the Skaven army ability, miners on demand seems scary, especially with the blasting charges. Yeah. Like, I would like that ability to be truthful, but even if I could just deploy them stationary underground in a Vanguard deployment and pull them out from under the ground when I wanted to, that would also be awesome. Hadams, of course, then the ASD compulsion towards optimization takes over. Yes. Hence my presence on this stream. That is exactly it. I know that feeling. You know, I cannot help myself. It's so funny that you say that. Like, it just like, I'll just here. I'll go and look here. Just well, here, concede defeat. I just want to show you something. End battle. This is like you talk about the compulsion of a dwarf. So if I look, I'm going to save army setups. I have armies versus everything. I have a base micro. All of them I fully used every last gold piece because I had to. I could. So versus, I have like a base setup. 12,400 gold utilized versus Beastmen versus Bretonia versus Chaos versus Dark Elves, all of them. I had to keep rebuilding the army until I got it to 12,400 gold. That is because if I didn't spend that one last gold, it was irritating to see it. Yeah, that is the Dowie in me, friends. That is the dwarf part of my soul. That's why I so strongly relate to all the lore with dwarfs, because I just can't help it. Okay. Now, Skeleton Warriors, I'm going to watch. So when their leadership goes negative is when I stop the test. Because I do not want them to crumble. Well, like, I don't want to track their crumbling, that is. Whoop. Because, there we go. So now we end the test here. And this isn't perfect for the undead, but this is the best way to test it, I think. Because, you know, you don't lose any of their health from crumbling. And you get sort of that routing. Holy crap, even the naming looks akin to mine. Hadams, great minds think alike. Then again, fools seldom differ. I don't know which one I am. But that is you have to do it that way, don't you? It's a compulsion. I agree. OCD is just... I don't know if it's proper OCD, but it's a must. It is a must. Okay. 5901. 5901. Nasty Skulkers, 4117. 4117. And the Tomb King Skeleton Warriors, 3610. Holy! The Skeleton Warriors actually took some gold off that fight. Not bad. Okay. And you got to think they're not getting their faction heal that they would normally get. Like, they get those 3 faction heals and obviously the summons, but we'll just save that. Okay. And you can see defeat. Yes. Rematch. All right. And I did some testing a little bit of testing with Yumeis today, and I need to do another the value of chevrons. Ooh. Okay, so they have hit -2. Okay, we'll go 5928. Is that right? No, I'm just going to hit play. There we go. Until they crumble. Okay, there we go. 59.26 it is. 59.26. Nasty Skulkers. 4878. And Skeleton Warriors. 4317. The Skulkers won the value proposition that time. See defeat, yes, and a rematch. Okay. Okay, Skeleton Warriors. Just watch. And let's go, boys. Stop. 5902. Nasty Skulkers finished with 4116. And Skeleton Warriors 3484. All right. 0. Holy. You don't see that very often where the gold differential is right on the money, 0. Those two things you don't see very often. Not where it's 0 and also where you have two tests that end up being exactly the same. It does happen. It's happened to me maybe of the thousands of tests I've done, I think it's happened to me 3 times, something like that. Let's see, defeat, rematch. All right. Yeah, that's right, goblins. Let's fight. Skeleton Warriors. Yeah, I'm really trying to pay attention to that leadership. So I want to stop it as soon as it goes. There we go. Right into negative and they start crumbling. Okay, so we got that 59 on the button. And Nasty Skulkers have 3993. Skeleton Warriors 3456. Skeleton Warriors pulled 8 gold, so very, very close matchup in terms of value. See defeat, yes. Rematch. Very close matchup in terms of value. Oops. Watch. Watch them, watch them, watch them. Stop. Okay. 59-17. These are nice, fast battles. That is the nice part about it. 47-84. 47-84. And 41-92 for the skeletons. 41. So the Skulkers only pulled 6 gold, 6.5 gold off the skeletons, which really isn't that much. So Tomb King Skeleton Spears. Okay. See defeat. Yes. End the battle. It'll be interesting to test the zombies against the Nasty Skulkers. I'd be curious how that's going to go. Skeletons. We go Skeleton Spearmen. Yeah, that's right. Skeleton Horseman, only 400 gold. Geez, that's cheap. Okay. There we go. Skeleton Spearmen, there we go. They have a little bit better melee defense, I think, so they should last a little longer. Although they should take sort of a kicking. They won't do as much damage, right? 5901. Well, we'll see. 59. Exact same amount of time. Nasty Skulkers 50-15. Yeah. Not nearly as much damage there. And they finished with 42-32. So yeah, the Skulkers are definitely taking some value off of them. in that fight. There we go. Spearman. Okay, good. Let that one go. 2 and boom. 5903. Nasty Skulkers. 5,000 on the button. Tombs King Skeletons. Spearman 4224. Whoops, 4224. There we go. 49 gold again. Huh. How about that? Alright. Rematch. Okay. I wonder why sometimes every once in a while, some units, they just don't line themselves up quite correctly. Must be something a little bit odd about how they're their unit numbers or something. Lizardmen units do that lots. Oops. No, keep going. Stop it. Oh my goodness, Sioux Devil. Stop. There we go. Okay, 58-15. Holy, they lasted a long time that time. 58-15. Nasty Skulkers. 4094. Skeleton Spears. 3009. Still pulled 34 gold off of them. See defeat and rematch. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I still think that zombies are overpriced at 100 gold. I'd like to see them at 75 gold, maybe 50, but 75 gold for sure. They should be cheaper than peasants because they are dead after all. Let me see. 5909. 5909. So it'll be fun to test them against the Skulkers though. And the Skulkers 4990. And the Skeletons 4172. There we go. 50 gold. Pretty stable in terms of the results. Not very swingy. All right. Oh man, I shouldn't be tired, but I am. Spears. Oh, there we go. 5902. 2, and the Skulkers finished with 4997. And Spears finished with 4151. Oh, pretty steady there, 46 gold. And the Skeleton Warriors 6-5, so they're stratifying correctly. Now here we go. The zombies. I'm definitely looking forward to this test. See defeat, yes. In battle. Okay, where we go? Vampires. There we go. 100 gold. I'd love to see these at 75 gold. Melee attack 5-6. That's why their melee. Their stats are so terrible. There's and they're so slow, like 23 speed. Like having them be 75 would not be a bad thing. I know they were 150, but 75 is still be about right. Javanzi Whiskey. 6 a.m. here, just getting up for school. with your live stream. Hey, well, have a good day. Eh? Have a good day from here in Canada. Get to watch some thrilling testing. It's fun for me. I love this. This is how I relax. I find it very relaxing to do testing and to get data and stuff like that. It's just something I enjoy doing. Okay, so watch these zombies. Oh, okay, so they're crumbling already. That didn't take long. Okay, so 59:39. 59:39. 14 seconds. Wow. Nasty Skulkers. 59:51. And the zombies. 5183. Oh, the Skulkers did 169 damage per second DPS. That's crazy. They only pulled 8 gold. That's about right though, I guess. Okay, I can see defeat. Rematch. Okay, here we go. Okay, zombies. There we go. Stop. 59:39. Is that the same? It is too. Are we gonna get the same as 59:51? Nope. 59:03. 3 and zombies. 52:18. Oh, only pulled 4 gold off the zombies. Let's see, defeat. Yes. Rematch. All right. The zombies are doing much better than they did, obviously, last time, with their value being down so low, but still. Whoop. 59:38. That was fast. 59:38. I do like this. Like I said, this testing is going extremely fast, which is really nice. Nasty Skulker. 58:13. 5813. Oh, the zombies did a little better that time. 5100. Zombies pulled 2 gold off the Skulkers. It's not nothing, folks. It's not not nothing. And I'll wet my whistle a little bit. Vaughn, hello, gents. How you doing, Vaughn? All right. Sorry, 59. We're nearly through the testing. I think for those of you here, I will try to put the testing together and go through it briefly, and then I will make a separate video at some point going through all of the testing and the re-stratification. So a rematch. I'm just really interested in how much these Nasty Skulkers are going to change the order. I really want to look at that sort of number and see where it ends up. Okay. Okay, over there. And look at them zombies. And boom. 59:39 again. Very consistent. Which were the bigger the advantage in terms of overall stats, the more consistent the results always are. But 58:51 for the Skulkers. 58:51. And 52:44 for the zombies. 52:44 minus 1. See defeat and rematch. Okay. Oh. 59:35. And Nasty Skulkers finished with 58:69. And the zombies finished with 49.65. So net gold is only 3 differential, which is kind of where it should be, but I would think the zombies should pull some gold because they're so terrible in so many ways. That's sort of the way that should go, I would think. But all right, so now we got the vampire count skeleton warriors and the vampire count skeleton spears. It was weird last time that the Tomb Kings actually finished higher in terms of value than the vampires, where you'd think that the vampires should finish higher because they don't have that faction mechanic, but I guess they also don't have the invocation of the heck for the Tomb Kings. So, well, we'll go look at the skeleton warriors. See defeat, yes. End battle. So that might be, maybe that's the difference. I don't know. So go here, and we've got there. And skeleton warriors, these guys are 300 versus the Tomb Kings 325, I think. Is that right? Tomb Kings 325 and 350, and they are 300 and 350. Well, that's the weirdest thing, hey? Well, we'll see how the value pulls. See how the value pulls. Okay. And 10 leadership. 1 leadership. Stop. Okay. 5901. 5901. And Nasty Skulkers finished with 4273. Skeleton Warriors 3576. Skeleton Warriors won that, pulled 4 gold off of them. See defeat. Yeah, rematch. All right. Yeah, Talaxalan's Soothsayer's build had 5 zombies in it and 3 skeleton warriors for his vampire counts build for that tournament. It was great to watch him play. And you know, like players of that level. Oop. Oh, okay, he's 2 health. 2 leadership. Oh, 1 leadership. Minus 22. There we go. Players of that level, like they all seem to, you know, they play so many games at such a high level. They intuit a unit's value in context so well. But it's nice to see that oftentimes some of the testing will show units that you should bring. Like you would think to a build to a tournament. If you're playing the Skaven, you should have some Skaven slaves and some basic clan rats in your build because they're such efficient units. Same with Bretonnia, you should bring peasant mobs. 5905. In general, I mean not every build, but they're a very efficient unit. Okay, Nasty Skulkers 4358. Skeletons Warriors 3458. All right, 7 gold they pulled, really close. It'll be interesting. They're probably going to be right. They're right near the Tomb Kings version, but it'll be interesting to see how they end up. All right, and Skeleton Warriors. 16 leadership, 5 leadership, 1, and there we go, minus 22. Zulu, hi. Hey, how you doing, Zulu? Okay, there we go, 5859. 59, and Nasty Skulkers finished with 4257. And the Skeletons finished with 3561. Minus 5. Very, very close. Rematch. Okay. There we go. Oops. 2 leadership. Oh, -2. There we go. 59-20. Finished a little early there. 33 seconds. Skulkers finished with 4932. 4932 health. And the skeletons 4215. Oh, Skulkers pulled 22 gold out of that fight. Vaughn, just watch your latest campaign video, and you only get 2 build slots in Galleon's Graveyard. No, that is a bunch of crap, isn't it, Vaughn? That is a bunch of crap. I was so excited about getting Galleon's Graveyard. 2 build slots. That is a grudge against Vampire Coast Forever. That is a forever grudge. I expected to have so much to do there, and I'm still mad at that. It's irritating. Oh man, 2 build slots. What a crock of BS. All right, 59-20. Seed defeat. Rematch. Zulu, sorry, missed last stream. No, I'm just like Zulu. I just do this streaming just to relax, just to chill out, and to do my testing. And I'm always going to try and stream my testing, but it's just a chance to chat with a few people that are here and say hello. And last night we were talking about politics. Tonight we're talking about chess, and talking about everything. Had a long chat about chess earlier. It was really quite enjoyable. Okay. And oops, nope. Stop. Okay. 58-55. 58-55. Nasty Skulkers 41-30. And Skeleton Warriors 3532. So -14, so about 1.4 gold. And the Skeleton Warriors for Tomb Kings were 6.5 gold. So the Vampires did better. Yeah, I guess that should be how it is. I think the Tomb Kings did better last time. So it'll be interesting to see how they stratify. Hadams, although I discovered the same thing for the first time in my current campaign. So disappointed. Two build slots. Man. Oh, if I could find out who did that, would send them a very nasty letter with swear words. All right. Vampire skeletons, spears, I guess. Just wait. We're done this, right? Yes, vampire skeletons with spears. In battle. Okay, vampire spears, 350, and away we go. Yeah, they would have been better off not letting me build there at all and making it so it couldn't be taken over. You could only raise it, than making it so you can only have 2 build slots. Like, anything would have been better. Unless it was their purpose to try and piss off a dwarf because they succeeded. That might have been their purpose. It could have been. 59-14. I bet they're like making that mechanic and they're like, oh, this is going to piss off all the dwarf players. It really is. They were so correct. All right. So 59-14. Nasty Skulkers finished with 49-25. Spears finished with 42-60. Pulled 41 gold off of those spears. 46 gold off the Tomb King, so looks like it'll be close. Well, and it should be. They're essentially the same unit. I mean, there are some slight differences in stats, but they're very, very close. The only positive is the immunity to reef attrition. Yeah, that's true. Zulu, if you could add any race to the game, what would it be? The Dowie Czar. Man, of course. The Dowie Czar. And I hope they're coming. I hope they're in the base game of game 3 so I can play a campaign. Because I literally never played a campaign in the Vortex map until just now. But I want to play the Dowie Czar. Or the Chaos Dwarfs. That's what I want to add, Zulu. The Chaos Dwarfs. I will learn my prayers to Hashut as soon as we're and the ogres. Oh man, having the ogre kingdoms in there is gonna be so good. I mean, man, this game, I love this game. It's beautiful, it's awesome, it's fun, and it's not even a third of the way there with all that's possible. Maybe a quarter of the way there. There's so much left to develop in this game. I just love it. Okay, Skeleton Spearman, 22 leadership, 10 leadership, 2 minus 2. There we go. 5909. 09. And Nasty Skulkers finished with 4991. And the Skeleton Spheres finished with 4241. 4241. Okay. Seed defeat. Alright. Rematch. Kanger, hey, how's it going, Kanger? I'd like to see some meme builds with the Master Engineer and the Thane. I don't know. I've seen there's some people that can pull that off. I'm not a good enough player to do it, Kanger. Like I just don't have the skills to pull off. I have to play as good as I possibly can with the best possible builds to win at all. In multiplayer, I really have to, give maximum effort. 5921. 5921. All right. 4906. 4171. 44 gold. That's pretty steady. Pretty steady right there. See defeat. Yep. A rematch. Vaughn, can you give us some thoughts on chaos, how it will work, when we'll see it? I think they could be very hard to get it right. The Chaos Dwarves, well, or the Chaos factions. I don't know enough about the lore, except to know there's really, I think to get Chaos correct, they need to really have the 4 Chaos gods, and I think they need to compete to be Chaos unified, and that's got to be the campaign. I think the campaign should really be around becoming Chaos unified, and really conquering all of Chaos. I think that's how it's going to be. Could be wrong. And really how that plays into the sort of Mortal Empires version of the campaign is that Chaos has to be unified, so there has to be a major war in the north for all the Chaos factions, and then once they're unified, they kind of spill into the south. But I hope we see, aside from the ogres, the Goblin empires, the Hobgoblin empires, and I hope they leave enough room to sneak in Ind, Cathay, and Nippon. And really, even if they only leave enough, Nippon would be a little harder, but Ind and Cathay. But I hope they leave enough room to do that on the edge of the map at some point, because I would love to see them flush those factions out. What are you thinking, Vaughn, in terms of how they're going to do Chaos? And no matter what, it's going to be hard, I think, to get it right. But CA has done a great job with this game. Really, it's an outstanding IP. But there's been, I don't know, between 40 and 50. I don't know. There have been a lot of games with the Warhammer IP, and maybe 10% or 20% have been pretty good, and there's a few that have, I would say, been extremely good. Like Blood Bowl is really, really cool. And this game, obviously, Warhammer Online I thought was a great game, but they sort of dropped the ball when it came to PvP, unfortunately. But 58-45. 58-45. 58-45. 58-45. Nasty Skulkers finished with 3971. And the Skeletons finished with 3454. 3 gold. Huh? Not too bad for the Skeletons that time around, for whatever reason. Concede defeat. Yep. Rematch. Kanger. I'm excited to see the Chaos Dwarves becoming OP due to power creep. Chaos Dwarves are gonna be OP because they have cavalry. They have demonic weapons. They have chaff in terms of hobgoblins and slaves. Like the Dowies are going to be a very strong faction and they have magic. I mean, this is like dwarfs. The big thing about the Dowie, the dwarfs, they don't have magic and they have no mobility. Like make the dwarfs with just as much armor and just as robust. Give them some chaff hobgoblins and goblins, and give them some cavalry, and give them magic. And I think they're gonna be the best faction in the game. I think. I mean, I couldn't see how they wouldn't be, because just the basic dwarves are really good. But the Dowies have great artillery too. They have great armor and robust units, and they're gonna have mobility and magic. There's no way they're not going to be top tier right out the gate. No way. They're going to be top tier right out the gate. Leadership. Unless the lore of magic they use is really, really terrible, but I doubt it. Okay. 59. Is there anyone who knows what the lore of magic they use? I'd really love to know. I don't know what it is. I know they're prey to Hashut, but I'm not sure what lore magic they would use. 59-15. In terms of what's in the Total War series. Nasty Skulkers, 4988. And Skeletons, 4215. So Skeletons finished 36.6 gold. Not Tomb Kings, 46. So even though they're both 350 gold, the Vampire Skeletons finished quite a bit better. So here we go. So we have 3 more to test. So let's go ahead and test those Marauders. The Chaos Marauders. Let's see, defeat, yes. End battle. Kanger. Do the Chaos Dwarves have a Master Engineer equivalent? I'm not I think they have something like it. They have a lot of pretty nasty artillery. Huge artillery. The Hell Cannon is just one. They have some pretty crazy artillery. I think they have some kind of crazy train. Some kind of crazy train. Earthquake, mortars, the devastation they cause. Orgasmic cause on Pornhub. Don't quote me though. 3, 2, 1, and it does exist there now. Oh my god. Okay, so what did I say? We want Chaos Marauders, right? Chaos Marauders at 375, and Warriors of Chaos Marauders 375. There we go. Fire only, I think. Oh, I see. Yeah, fire only. That makes sense. The lore of fire is not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. Okay. But even any magic is going to be pretty strong for the Dowie. Burning Head, that'll be just fine. Fireballs? Fireballs are 300 meters. They're not bad. And what's that ability where you give like your whole group of troops fire damage and 25% weapon damage. I mean, there's some decent enough spells that'll be great for dwarfs. 5813. Nasty Skulkers finished with 2084. And the Marauders finished with 1231. Well, the Marauders pulled 24 gold out of that one in the battle and rematch. Kanger, if Chaos Dwarves are so powerful, they will surely have to buff Dwarves to make them competitive. Well, I don't know if they'll go through buffs or they'll go through nerfs. Like, they've done a lot of rebalancing since Game 2 came out, and they made some major buffs to the Dowie right off the get-go by changing the nature of vigor and changing health and a few other things. But I imagine Game 3 will be something like that as well. I imagine. I mean, I don't. It's hard to say precisely, but Zulu. I think they may use metal in the lore of a shoot. Is that how you spell? I think it's Hashut. H-A-S-H. I'm not sure. Is that how you spell their gods? Something like that. Hashut. I'm really not 100% sure. 5851. 51. I'd say fire, metal, and death. Yeah, could be that. Reddit black could be fire, death. For sure, fire and metal. For sure, fire. 100% for fire. I could imagine metal and maybe death. But, you know, whatever it is, it's going to be like having it's going to be like having regular dwarfs, except you have true chaff units in slaves and hobgoblins. And hobgoblin wolf riders are way better than goblin wolf riders. And you're also going to have those bull centaurs, which are dwarfs with a bull's body. I mean, how are those not going to kick ass? And you could have amazing artillery, like and magic. Like, they're going to be incredibly strong right out of the gate. They're going to be very, very strong for sure. Nasty Skulkers finished with what? 33,225. And I'm sure you'll see some buffs to the Dowie, or I mean, they'll make everything generally competitive. It may take a long time though. Like, if one thing's true, CA is methodical, but they're not fast at getting things changed. I wish they would just do a balanced pass once a month, and they'd be able to get that there and really do a little. If they really had a team focused on multiplayer, they could make multiplayer amazing. They really could. Marauder Champions finished, or Chaos Marauders finished with 1724. So for 41 gold, the Skulkers pulled out of that, which is pretty good. Rematch. Hadams. Honestly can't remember. I played the crap out of 8th for a couple of years, then life and circumstance dragged me away from Warhammer until I found Total War Warhammer 1 about a year ago. Yeah, I know how that is, Hadams. I mean, just life and circumstance pulls you away from things that you enjoy for your hobbies. That happens all the time. Zulu. Ogre heavy cavalry makes the demigriffs look like goblin wolf riders. Yeah, like the ogres, like, I don't even know how you're going to play against them. They're all immense, and like, they literally have their ranged units are literally ogres holding freaking cannons. it's like, it's going to be like, they're going to make just Warplock Jezzails look like, like chicken shooting peas, because they're going to have 450 range and they're going to shoot cannonballs. Reddit black, very silly helmets. Hey, it doesn't matter how silly their helmets are. They got some pretty fancy beards that, yeah, their helmets are a little bit silly looking, but I mean, that's just a taunt. That's all it is. It's just there to taunt. So it's like, we are so powerful, we can wear these silly helmets and still kick your ass. Oh, man. All right. And Chaos Marauders are doing all right. And, whoa, this is really close. Whoa, there we go. 5822. And Skulkers finish with 2178, 2178. Marauders 1104. And Marauders pulled 9 gold off him that time. A rematch. You know what's really going to be good is the DLCs for after Game 3 are going to be all going to be like Vampire Coast level awesome. Because they're not going to have a Game 4 in the works, so they're just going to be able to put a lot of effort into the DLC. So all the DLCs are going to be fantastic. And I really hope they flesh out every single faction. Like, I'd like to see every single dwarf faction its own DLC. Like I said, I'd pay $20 for every single DLC faction for the dwarfs, but maybe they wouldn't be able to sell it for that. But $5 or $10 for sure they would, easily. They'd be able to sell a lot of them. It'd be great. 5827. And Skulkers 2584. Marauder Champs, Chaos Marauders 949. 31 gold they pulled off in that time. So that was really close. In battle or rematch. Reddick Black. LOL, it's just to make them look taller. And it does, Reddick. It does make them look taller. Thank you very much. Kanger, how and when do you think they will add Felix and Gotrek? I think it's going to be a DLC. They're gonna sell it, obviously. It'll be a $20 special DLC, and they'll add them as legendary heroes. Will they be tied to Dowie faction? Yep. I bet you. I bet you both Empire. Well, maybe I was gonna say both Empire and the Dowie will be able to pull them in as legendary heroes, but that would be just wrong if they fought each other. Well, I suppose you could make it, but a legend, like the whole concept of legendary hero, I think really has to be explored because there's so many characters in the Warhammer universe that can be made legendary heroes that might not be legendary lords. 5849. Like if Helmand Gorst was a legendary hero instead of a legendary lord, it wouldn't be upsetting to so many so many people who are fans of the vampire counts. 5849. Because I don't know how Helmand Gorst gets the moniker legendary lord. All right, 49. Nasty Skulkers. 3008. And the Marauders 1927. And you could make so many interesting heroes that just can flesh out the build so much. So here, the Chaos Marauders lost 10.5 gold. How did the Norscan Marauders do? Norscan Marauders, where are they? Same slaves here. The Norscan Marauders lost 31 gold. So the Chaos Marauders did better. 31 versus 10.5, about 21 gold better, and they're 25 gold cheaper. Interesting. Okay, so now we need the zombie pirate deckhand mobs with pole arms. Okay, we'll save it first. And in that end, Riddick. There was mention of Age of Sigmar Total War. Why not, right? Like, there's going to be Total War Warhammer versions forever and ever. This is a thing that's going to happen forever. It is making too much money for both companies to ever stop. So there's going to be an Age of Sigmar. There's probably going to be, just like Total War has done for historical periods, there'll probably be a Total War Warhammer setting 3,000 years before this date, like maybe on the first big sundering of the world. You know, like they're gonna make games over eras for this. This is now a proper franchise partnership that's going to last for the next 50 years, unless one of the two gets greedy and screws the other over, because that businesses could do that to each other sometimes. Adams, you're not thinking of Indie Pride's April Fool's vid. So in the now he did an April Fool's vid. I can't remember what it was. I knew it was April Fool's when I read it. I'm like, what the hell? So Zulu, in the lore, there's a really funny story about the Empire Explorer who goes to the ogres and claims allegiance to a random ogre bull and treats him like a pet. Then says that he is now declared. Zulu E10. Vaughn, if they add Gotrek, you need that Skaven Greyseer. Yes. Thanquol, I think, is a Greyseer. If the rat ogre pet. Yeah, I think it's Gotrek, you need Thanquol. So it'll probably be Felix and Gotrek and Thanquol. Oh yeah, there you go, Zulu. Thanquol. Vaughn, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's they have to. You're right, they have to add that. So continue. So did I finish this? Yeah, zombie pirate deckhand mobs. So we go to Vampire Coast. I'm just going to do the zombie pirate. I'm going to do the I'm going to change this. I don't know why I have this like this. Okay, minus, and we go like this. This is just in the wrong order, and it's bugging me. There we go. Zombie pirate deckhand mobs. Okay, 300. Yes, there we go. Start the battle. Kanger is Thanquol intertwined with Felix. Yeah. I think he's their enemy, but he's sort of like a meme enemy, because he succeeds despite failing. He's sort of like he's like the bumbling enemy. I like, from my understanding. He's sort of like the Dr. Evil, in Austin Powers. He always wants sharks with frickin' laser beams on their head. Okay, and we'll watch the zombie pirate deckhand mobs. 5, 4, 3. Okay, and we'll watch their leadership. 18, 15. Zombie pirate deckhand mobs should do all right, and they should pull more value than the pole arms. 6. Oops. 3. There we go. -9. So 58, 26. That's not bad. 58, 26. Because with pole arms, you get anti-large and armor piercing. So zombie pirate deckhand mobs with pole arms should not do as good in an infantry fight, if they stratify correctly. Nasty Skulkers finished with 3139. 3139. Zombie pirate deckhand mobs finished with 2859. 2859. Holy! Wow! The zombie pirate deckhand mobs pulled 45 gold off the Skulkers. Not bad. That's not bad at all. Alright. Okay, see defeat. Rematch. Reddit. Soothsayer just won Sotek's Old World tourney with a Gorse build versus some stiff competition. I know, I watched the whole thing, Reddick. Talaxalan Soothsayer is ridiculously good. There's no other way around it. That build, it was so clever how he used that build. I mean, aside from being amazing in every single way, really, just how he played it. Really, the build was not about Gorst, although it kind of was. Like, I love it. I love his play. His play is very dwarfy. I wish he would play the dwarfs more. I know he's a super competitive, and competitive players don't really, like, at the highest level, competitive players tend not to enjoy the dwarfs because they're not very dynamic. But I wish he would play the dwarfs more. He'd be so amazing to watch. I mean, he's amazing to watch play any faction, really, isn't he? but he's got that constricting style, that stifling style. Like that's like if he was like an NFL team, he'd be like an NFL team that had an amazing, solid defense and just like the type of NFL team would be like the Vince Lombardi's Packers, like that type of team. That's the type of player he is. Just straightforward. He plays perfectly all the time, and just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And he's a joy to watch. I agree, Reddick. Very cleverly done. I'm like, it was a magnificent spectacle to watch him play today. It really was. I was so happy I got to watch it. Zulu. Oh, just wait. Zulu. After all, thankful never fails. Yeah. It's a storm vermin. It's a storm vermin's fault. Yeah, it's exactly right. Oh, keep going. Zombie pirate deckhand mobs. No. Jeez Louise. I want to stop exactly when they hit negative leadership. There we go. 58-28. 58-28. 3437. 34307 and 3265. Pulled 35 gold again, so not too bad at all. See defeat. Yep. Rematch. Zulu. There was not enough slaves, so it's not Thankful's fault. That is it. Like that's exactly, yes. There you go. That is beautiful thinking right there. The Orion and Throg match, though, yeah, holy, that was crazy. Like I thought those, I cannot believe that the Orion there. 7 minus 17. Geez, I gotta watch this. Okay. Kanger, dang, I gotta read those Felix and Gotrek books and get those inside jokes. I have to read them all too. I have not read the Felix and Gotrek books, and people keep telling me go and read them, and I haven't. I really do need to, because they're just part of the world. Is pretty. It's sort of like I don't know if the writing is world-class novels, but they're great story. They're great adventures, so they're really, really great adventure stories. They use a lot of just classic tropes, but that's just fine. Those books are all good that way. 5850. Nasty Skulkers. We got what? 3866. 3866. And the Zombie Pirates. 3939. Pulled 23 gold off him again. Rematch. Okay. Zombie Pirates. Yeah, just keeping an eye on their keep an eye on their leadership, because I always want to catch it just as it flips. There we go. 58-56. That finished quick. 58-56. Nasty Skulkers. 3986. Zombie Pirates. 4043. 17 gold they pulled off them. Pretty efficient there. That's really efficient for an undead unit. Rematch. Maybe the zombie pirate deckhand mobs are better than I thought. Like lots of people like using the pole arms against the Dao-E, but I think the basic deckhand mobs are better than the pole arm version against the Dao-E. I mean, they're cheaper and they just perform better. Okay, 31 leadership. 31, 18 leadership, 7 leadership, and 6, 7. There we go. Vaughn. The books are great. Hey, Vaughn. Hey, well, Vaughn and Zulu, whoever knows, how many books are there in the Gotrix and Felix series? Is like a 10-book series, a 20-book series, like 5, 58, 57, 58, 57. And Nasty Skulker finished with 4415. Zombie Pirates finished with 4098. Oops, 4098. Yeah, pulled a total of 21 gold off them. That's really good. That's a really strong performance by the Zombie Pirate deckhand mobs, actually. So, the polearm should do quite a bit worse, because they get anti-large and they get armor piercing. So they should have to give up some stats in an infantry conflict to get those stats back. See defeat in battle. Riddick. William King and Nathan Long are decent authors. Haven't read the books in years. Oh, really? They are? Okay. There you go. And it depends on who the authors are. I mean, I know that one of my favorite series is just is by R.A. Salvatore, and it's a Dristo Erden series. And you would think that they wouldn't be amazing authors down there, but they are. So there you go. Maybe that's why the books are so good, is they got solid authors, and they make the best use of sort of classic adventure tropes. Because that's one thing about our R.A. Salvatore series with Dristo Erden is that, I mean, he's really good visual writer. Like, he really describes the landscape and everything so incredibly well that it makes for a fantastic read. I went through the Dristo Erden series. I think it was 22 books, really, really fast, like in a month, something like that. Once I started reading it, I couldn't stop. Deckhand mobs with polearms. There we go. I think I've heard of Nathan Long before. I don't know if I've heard of William King. I think I've heard of Nathan Long before.
Ready. That's good.
Yeah, the only exposure I've had to Gotrek and Felix is a story that is posted on YouTube, just like it's like an audiobook, and it was a little campy, but it was good. I mean, nothing wrong with it at all. It's like it's sort of the beauty of adventure series books is they are a lot of what you expect, and even though you expect it, it's still great, and that's what makes it great. Vaughn, about 9 or 10. Okay, that makes sense. Zulu, the Doomflayers did not do good, so it's not Thankful's fault. The warplate cannons exploded, so it's not Thankful's fault. Exploded, so it's not Thankful's fault. Reddit, 14 or 15 books in the main series. There are other books and short stories. Okay, I think it might have been a short story I'd listened to. For the main books, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know there's probably, there's got to be at least 100 Warhammer books, I imagine, out there in the fantasy world. I'd like to read them all. Like, that's funny, I haven't read for a while, but when I read, I tend to read a lot. Like, I mean, when I was on the Right Away, I probably read 50 books in 6 months, something like that. How would Gotrek play compared to Ungram? What would his signature abilities be? That's a good question. It's a question that I couldn't answer. What do you guys, Reddick, Vaughn, Zulu? How would Gotrek play compared to Ungram? I mean, first of all, he wouldn't have any armor. Ungram wears armor because he's a Slayer King. Gotrek wouldn't have any armor. And I think Gotrek has one of his axes. Does he have 2 axes? And one of them is Grimnir's axe? Something like that. I wish I knew the lore good enough to answer those kind of questions. What I would do, Kanger, is I would just go straight over to Lore Master of Sotek's channel and look at all his dwarf stuff. Although he doesn't talk about Gotrek and Felix a lot. Or at least he hasn't yet. So maybe he'll do a series on that. So 58-55. Let's go here. 58-55. His last one on Belgar Ironhammer was utterly amazing. It was so good. Nasty Skulkers. There we go. Finished with 3819. And the pole arms finished with 3958. There you go. So the Skulkers pulled 28 gold off him. So that's how it should be. That's actually pretty good. See defeat. Yep. Yeah, I think like all Slayers are trying to find their death, but I mean that just is Gotrek is the worst is the worst Slayer alive, right? Because he hasn't been able to come across something that can give him his death. And it's not like he hasn't tried from the sounds of it. Okay. Zombie fire deckhand mobs. Okay. 18 leadership. 10. 6. Oh, there we go. 17. 58-51. 58-51. I really should read all the Gotrek and Felix and Warhammer books because I'm going to be playing this game for the next 10 years for sure. So I should do more. I'm doing a bit of a lore series, but just reading through a lore website a little bit at a time. But I haven't gotten to that in a while. I really do want to finish that. It'll probably be like 20 parts, but it's an interesting read and something good to listen to. Nasty Skulkers finished with 4109. 4109. Pole arms. 4,000. All right. 49 gold. Oh man, that's big. Zulu. Ungram's death was so cool. He literally couldn't die. He absorbed the wind of fire, so he literally exploded and killed everything around him. Well, that's end time stuff. And like, I see how the end times bugs everyone, but I mean, the thing that bugs me about the end time stories the most is the way Thorgrim was killed. That really bothers me. So that's just so really bugs me. It really bugs me. Okay. There we go. Next one. 2, 3 more tests. Rematch. And then we're going to put everything together and take a look at what the data tells us. Okay.
Goblins! Standing time!
Oh, I gotta make sure the order's correct. That might be a bit of a pain. 7 leadership, 6. Boom, minus 17. 58-54. Nasty Skulkers. 4072. Pole arms. 4135. 40 gold. Pretty stable. See defeat. Rematch. Zulu. And I'm also surprised he didn't die at the site of goblins. Reddick. Gotrek's very much a loner. Getting him out of the tap house is hard. Is the hard part. He'd be an awesome duelist, low armor, high melee attack, defense, and damage. Yeah, single target duelist. So he would have to have some sort of slow or something so that he could get into those duels. Like the Torment, not the Tormentor sword, but something like that ability. The way he translated the game so he could actually get into the duels. That's the hard part with the dwarfs. Like when I play Ungram, he just runs around nonstop chasing stuff. He never ever catches anything. It's really hard for him to catch stuff. Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob, 7 leadership, and 6. There we go, minus 17. 58-56. 58-56. Nasty Skulkers, 3963. 3963, Zoe Pirate Deckhand, full arms. 4192. 4192. Okay, 29 gold off of that one. Von Gotrek is a force of nature. He also carries over into the end times and turns into a dwarf god. Okay, cool. Redek, bonus versus large. Yep. Kanger, Gotrek would probably need a high word save. Then I would imagine, yep. Or just a lot of health. Zulu. Gobs were making funny hats for the Reddick. Yep. Like he needs to get into the game as a legendary hero. Can imagine being able to bring Ungram and Gotrek in the same army. That'd be freaking fantastic. It'd be awesome. Okay. Concede defeat. Yes. Rematch. There we go. Like, I imagine that well, I was just thinking about some of the Warhammer games that are going to be. I bet you there's going to be a Total War Warhammer where they have the ancestor gods Valaya, Grimnir, and Grungni. Like, they'll have something in that era, because why not, right? There's no reason not to. I think that'd be amazing. So how do you expand and start the Karazhan Core, right? 5829. 5829. That is the last test. Time to put this stuff together. 3408. 08. And Deccan 3143. 32. Okay, so we're going to save that. Okay, so Chaos Marauders. I have to look at how did I have these? What's the order? Okay. I want this X V. So why is Chaos down here? I don't know why I put them down there. But okay, so that makes sense. So I'm just gonna save it. Put all this stuff together. No. Beastmen, Bretonia, Dark Elves, Dwarves. Beastmen. Oh, so we go down here. Skulkers. Beastmen. Bretonia. Dark Elves, Dwarves. Goblins. Skinks. Night Goblins, Skinks. Okay, then Skaven, Empire, Tomb Kings, Vampires. Yeah, this is the right order. So now I need to put them into the. First of all, I need the battle time for all of them. So we're going to go. First of all, I'm going to go. We're going to put these in the Skulkers. Okay. And I'm going to do. Copy V. Copy V. Okay. And so we'll just make sure we get that there. Okay, so now I need battle time for all of them. So we'll go down to where the Skulkers start. Okay. All right. So save it. So I need battle time. You. There we go. Book. And there we go. You. copy. Let's go up here and V, X and V, X and V, X and V. All right. Seconds per gold. So this equals what? That divided by this. Is that right? Okay, center that up. And let's see. Okay, delete. Okay. Okay. Okay, and we're going to bring this to what? 2 digits. Let's go format data. Where is it? Format cells, number, decimal places, 2. Okay. All right. So now we need gold difference and gold per minute. So gold difference and gold per minute, and then we'll resort them. Sorry, I'm missing some chat here. Zulu, goblins make the best hats for the boys when it's chilly. They make good slippers for Grimnor. They are the slippers, so it's free too. Oh man. Okay. All right. So nasty skulker. So I need gold per minute. Gold per minute for the Ungor spears. There, gold per minute. You. There we go. You. Okay. All right. You. Don't bump. Okay, so copy. Go all the way up to here. Okay, and V. So we go here. X, V, X, V, X, V. Okay, so let's just make sure some of these are right. Yes, that's correct. Who did really good down here? Basic clan rats. Yes, that's correct. Anybody else? Gave slaves, yeah. Did really bad. Skeleton spearmen. Skeleton spearmen. Yeah, that all looks correct. Okay, so I'm just going to save that. Now, I'm going to take all this. I'm going to go copy. I'm just going to go over to my analysis page. And okay, I'm going to go like this. V. So, okay. Why did that not come out right? Ah, I see why. How about I undo that? Edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo. I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to hit V like that. There we go. All right. So now what I need to do is I'll go plus, oops, insert columns, and I just need to make that a little bit wider. So I'll take that column out. Delete column. Let me see. Delete columns. So what I want to do is I'll grab all of this. First of all, I'll make this smaller before I do the analysis. There we go. Just so I can see more of it on the screen. Okay. that smaller. Yep. All right. So what I need is I'll grab all of this, and I need to data sort. I want to sort it by column AW, which is seconds per gold, and ascending. No, I want it descending. Data sort descending. There we go. Spearmouth shields. Excellent. Now I want to take this 1, 2, 3. Okay, we go down like that. Okay, make that smaller. Now I'll add insert column, and we'll go like this. All right, and data sort by gold differential, which is column AY. Okay, and I want that to sort ascending. Yes. Yeah, gold differential. Excellent. So there we go. 1, 2. Actually, let's go like this. Copy V 1, 2, 3. There, like that. And go like that. Good. Okay, insert columns. Now take that. Sort data. Sort by BA. BA ascending. There we go. Copy V. There we go. And insert columns. So first of all, I'm going to grab all that, and I want to data sort by BD. BD. And I want it descending. Yes? Yeah. Okay. 1. Whoops. Copy. 1, 2. And we'll bring that all the way down. Okay. Now insert column. Now 2 more to sort. Okay, data, sort by BF, and I want ascending here. All right. Yep. Copy V, 1, 2, and we'll get these down like that. Okay, and insert columns. So now we'll sort like this. Data sort by BH. Okay, ascending, good. And again, copy V, 2, 3, and down we go. And I'll make that smaller. So equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this. All right. And we'll go down like that. Okay. And oops. Insert columns. So now I want to go like this. And we will sort data. Sort by AU. AU ascending. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So Whoops. So this is the new rank order. And it'll be interesting to see. Okay, so Skaven Slaves are number 1. Who was number 1 last time? Skaven Slaves. Peasant Mobs were number 2. So let's see. So Clan Rats are now number 2. Peasant Mobs 3. Clan Rats with Shields 4. Like, those Skaven are so efficient. Goblins number 8. Miners with Blasting Charges moved up big time to number 11. Where do the miners go? Regular miners all the way down to number 26. Now this looks much more correct. That looks way more correct. And let me see. Swordsmen still down at 13 compared to Spearmen with Shields at 10. And where are the regular Spearmen for Empire? Down at 15. So they're still a little out of sorts. Zombies. Okay, maybe zombies shouldn't be cheaper. They're at 100 gold and they're sort of halfway up. That's a pretty fair price for them. Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs, 300. They're sort of 18. That looks about right. At the bottom are Skeleton Spearmen, both types. Zombie Deckhand Mobs with polearms. Ungor Herd. So here we go. So Ungor Spearman Herd should be down here. And Miners are bad. But Ungor Herd should not be here. Same with Miners. They should be at about the halfway mark and up. And same with Skink. Cohorts are a little low. And Marauders, Norskin Marauders, I would say, are a little low. And the Empire Spearmen should be down a little lower, and the Empire Spearmen with Shields would be down a little lower. But really, the Skaven Slave Spear should be less. But really, so this really changed it a little bit. If I look over here, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'll do a presentation of how much they changed. But you can see the miners with Blasting Charges were 18, and the regular miners were 16. So that really helped push these out to where they belong, I think. Miners now with Blasting Charge are 11, and regular miners are 26, which is about where they should be. Because regular miners at 325 gold lose to Bretonnian Men-at-Arms at 250 gold in a straight-up fight. So really, they're not that great of a value. I mean, they do have some anti-large properties, and that armor piercing is okay, but they're not that great. So interesting. So what I'll do is I'm just going to save this. Skaven Slaves, were they number 1 last time? Yes, Skaven Slaves, Peasant Mobs, and Clan Rats. So Skaven Slaves, Peasant Mobs, and Clan Rats are still the top 3. That didn't change much because those are all really efficient units. And Men-at-Arms number 6. What were they last time? Men-at-Arms number 4. So they moved down a little bit, but yeah. So I will make a proper video where I show the differential, but it's interesting. At the top, Skaven Slaves are still right up there. They're an incredibly efficient unit. And let Peasant Mobs, like, it's like I've said this many times before, Peasant Mobs, if you defend anything except for another peasant mob against a single charge, they've paid for themselves. They're such an efficient unit in terms of the value they can bring in a build. You know, they're 100 gold. Like, that's crazy. For just any kind of other unit that's sort of 700 gold, you can get 7 peasant mobs, and all they got to do is stop charges, and they pay for themselves. Or one peasant mob gets on a piece of artillery somehow, they'll kill the artillery. So it's really, really efficient. Clan Rats with Shields are right up there, so they're below the Clan Rats. So Skaven Slave Spears are way too high, I think. They should probably be 175, I would think, is what their price should be at. But Empire Spearmen with Shields are pretty high. They should be lower, but there we go. Empire Spearmen are below Swordsmen. It's like you'd want the Empire Swordsmen to be up a little bit higher. They should be higher than the Spearmen with Shields, for sure. But they're state troops, so they don't really have to be that great. But yeah, the Miners with Blasting Charges took a big leap forward in this, and that's, you know, they sort of belong there. They're a decent enough unit, and I'm using the Miners a lot more for their anti-large properties and for their get in the way properties. But that doesn't mean that, you know, because they have some situational value, that they don't deserve a proper buff. Like a regular Miner should have more value than you know, a skeleton warrior. like a miner. You think of like, yeah, I don't know. That's the zombie pirate deckhand mobs. These zombie pirate deckhand mobs are a pretty efficient unit. Now the zombies are as well. So I guess I thought they should be 75 gold. That would put them actually kind of up here. So they're probably correctly priced at 100 gold. I would say that seems to be about right. Huh. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll end the stream here. I think I am going to make a proper video going over this. I do also have to go and revisit the 401 to 600 gold testing, because what I want to do here is I did against clan rats and longbeards. Into this testing, I'm going to add the Bretonnian foot squires, because they are armor piercing anti-infantry and they have some armor. I think that'll change out things like aspiring champions, and it'll probably push dwarf warriors down a little bit. Like aspiring champions are really good in that they're good at clearing trash, but they do it very slowly. So they have a really high value here, but that'll push their value down. They really have some weaknesses in their low model count, and they don't do splash damage, but they have some strengths too, and a silver shield and encourage. So, and they're cheap. They're only 550 gold, but some of these things didn't quite go outright, but there should be some things that change slightly once we change that there. So that's the next set of testing I'm going to do. Then when I'm done that testing, I don't know if I'm going to do infantry versus large, ranged versus ranged, artillery versus artillery, or a complete package of artillery and range together. I really don't know what side of testing. There's a really cool map I'll show you in this whole testing. This unit testing pack is so good. I need to drop a line to that author, because there's a few maps that I would actually like to see, which would be really useful for testing. Continue. But if you look, one of his great ones is this UT Fields 300, because it has, if you watch, it actually it's great for artillery testing because it shows the distance, so you can put your units at any distance you want in here, and it shows how far it is. It's really kind of cool. Like you see, like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. It's really cool. And you can move your units around. So I've messed around with artillery testing on here and other kind of testing. So I think that's going to be good. Reddick, glad to catch you live for once. Keep it up. Thanks, Reddick. I do plan on, like, as much as I can, I mean, I've got a busy life just like everybody else, but when I get a hankering for testing, I really, really want to test, and I really love doing it. Well, I guess it's very enjoyable for me. So, anyways, that's the stream, and I will put together a proper presentation. I don't know if it'll be a really nice one or anything like that. It might just be pretty straightforward and simple. But for those of you that were here, you know the results now. And you've seen what the big changes are, and hopefully I see you in the sort of proper video. I don't know when I'll have time to make it, but I'll try and get to it as soon as I can. I do have a lot of multiplayer videos on the way. I think probably 6 or 7 more in a row. I'll try and get one every day if I can. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a good one, and I'll see you around.